So, you know all of the obnoxious people that start celebrating Christmas like 3 months before it's actually December? That's basically how I am with Halloween. And all of my friends were telling me that it is too early for me to be celebrating Halloween, which is just not true. I take it very seriously. I binge watch all the Halloween Town movies. You can bet I have my Halloween costume figured out in advance. And so when it comes to putting myself in that spooky mood and actually keeping me up at night, I turn to books because they do that very well. Today, I am specifically going to be focusing on paranormal books. Paranormal is a genre that's kind of unique in the sense that it can really vary in terms of plot. You can have one book that's a historical fiction dealing with spirits and ghosts, and you can have another that is more of a modern day book about werewolves and vampires. First we have Blythewood by Carol Goodman. This is about a girl who attends an elite boarding school named Blythewood, and at Blythewood she is on a mission to discover more about her family's dark past and also locate the boy who recently saved her life. Blythewood itself has a lot of dark secrets. It's a historical fiction, so it takes place in this big boarding school that definitely has this sort of haunted, creepy, supernatural feeling to it. Carol Goodman's writing is to die for. It is so beautiful and poetic, and I've actually heard some people say that they think it is too poetic, which no. It's full of dark magic and ancestral secrets, and even though it's fairly big, I actually flew through this one. We have The Immortal Rules by Julie Kagawa. Julie Kagawa is great. It takes place in this place called the Fringe. The Fringe is a walled-in city where a group of people live that are protecting themselves from vampires. This book takes off when the main character, Allie, accidentally one day becomes a vampire herself, and so she decides to disguise herself as a human and join a group of pilgrims in search for a cure. It's an interesting mix of being very exciting and fast-paced because it's this like adventure, but then also being very dismal and gray and scary. And we have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I have so much love for this book. It is about a girl named Diana Bishop who one day, when she is deep in Oxford's library, accidentally unearths an enchanted manuscript. And it is her discovery of this manuscript that accidentally triggers a stirring in the underworld. A horde of demons, vampires, witches, spirits, any creepy thing you could think of rises to the earth. They just appear in the library, and yeah, she did that. It's very romantic and suspenseful and exciting and full of history. Next we have Sanctum by Sarah Fine. This is a recent read of mine and I was so pleasantly surprised by this book. It is about a girl who, after her best friend dies, decides to travel down into hell to save her. Because it takes place in hell, there are obviously like a lot of dark themes going on. I thought that the depiction of afterlife in this book was really interesting. The main character is very strong-willed and awesome. I loved her, and the pacing of this book is very quick and just a lot of stuff happening. Next we have Nevermore by Kelly Crow. I always say this author's name wrong. This book is about two very different characters. There is this girl who is very bubbly and popular and she's a cheerleader. And there's this boy, as you can see right here, who is labeled as goth. He is very mysterious and quiet. They together study Edgar Allan Poe, which is the main reason why I love this book, because I love Edgar Allan Poe. The stories of Edgar Allan Poe begin to come to life, and these two characters are stuck in this weird crossing of worlds. If you've read Edgar Allan Poe, you know that his style of writing is very dark. That is what he is known for. I just thought it was really interesting mixing Edgar Allan Poe with a YA paranormal book and then having these two very normal teenagers kind of navigating this really crazy world that is coming out of his writing. So next we have The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson. This is another boarding school book, but this is not a historical fiction. It takes place in modern day London as this girl, Rory, is attending a new boarding school in London. As she attends this school, a series of brutal murders are occurring and police are trying to discover who the suspect is, and Rory sees a man who she believes to be the primary subject. but the catch is that she is the only one that can see him, and it seems that now he is after her. So these murders actually are mimicking the Jack the Ripper killing spree, so that is a major theme in this book. Cassandra Clare actually wrote a blurb for it, and she said, "A gorgeously written, chilling, atmospheric thriller." Holly Black, another popular author, said, "This book made me want to give up everything, move to London, and fight ghosts." And next I have Star-Crossed by Josephine Angelini. This is about a girl who begins having these strange visions and nightmares of this desert, these women who are weeping tears of blood, and she is overcome by this strong urge to murder a boy attending her school. This is definitely more of a paranormal romance, and it's very exciting and gorgeously written. This book is very different from the others because it actually plays a lot with Greek mythology. It says, "A love written in the stars, a feud started in ancient Greece, a curse not even the gods can break." This was a book that was recommended to me to read while I was in a reading slump a while back because the writing style is definitely that sort of style that can pull you out of a slump because it's very gripping from the start, very fast paced, because this is just that very action-packed paranormal romance. I don't know why, but those always get me out of my slump. I really liked the combination of the modern day and also the history of Greek mythology and how that kind of came into her visions and her nightmares. So if you are in a reading slump yourself, or you're just looking for a paranormal that is less creepy, because this really isn't a creepy paranormal, it's more just like an exciting paranormal. It focuses more on Greek mythology, which isn't really like spooky, but it's really interesting. And lastly, I have a book called Haunting Violet by Alexandra Harvey. This is a book that I read on my Kindle recently. The writing of this book is so rich and like I wanted to soak it all in. It's the way that the author depicted the food to the fashion to the setting. It was all so well done. That is the best kind of writing, when you feel like a book actually has physically transported you into its pages. And it was a historical fiction, and I love when authors can do that with historical fiction. This book is about a girl who is a part of this fake psychic thing with her mom. Her mom pretends to be a medium. She really doesn't believe in ghosts until this one ghost starts haunting her, and this ghost died from a very tragic death. The ghost was murdered, and so she decides that she has to try and hunt down the murderer. I liked the idea of her being this psychic and going from being a non-believer who was pretending to be a believer to now dealing with the actual afterlife after all this time pretending like she was an expert on it. Those are all the books that I'm going to be recommending today. And if you have any recommendations for me in terms of spooky books, go ahead and let me know, please. I love to scare myself. I just love all things dark and creepy and scary, basically. Anything that's gonna keep me up at night. I guess that will be it. So I hope you guys enjoy. I will see you guys next time. Bye!